Hey guys, Miki Klein again, and today we have Lenka Coloma again with us. She is the de jure sheriff of Orange County, and oh my gosh, this girl's got a lot going on. She's going to tell us today about a case that she brought up in our last call, and I really wanted to learn more about it, and I also wanted to kind of give a public announcement of where they stand today, but also she's been working with Private Attorney General Adriana Estevez. Am I saying that right? Estevez?
You are, yes.
And this was fascinating because after our last interview, you shared with me an interview that this attorney general, this private attorney general, that's important. And maybe I'll have you speak on that a little bit. But Adriana has been very busy working since like 2008 or even beyond. And I watched an interview that you shared of hers, and she is fascinating. So, and she's very much involved in this case, right? So I'm going to link some of that stuff below, but Lenka, welcome back. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Miki. It's such a great pleasure.
People were so loving our first interview about like how God brought us to jure sheriffs.
Well, it's about time, right? It's about time. God is on the move and cannot be stopped. It's happening, people. And I tell you, Miki, it's really exciting times to be alive. Every day I wake up, I feel blessed. I feel really blessed. I know that we are facing challenging times, and but it's really to know that it's happening for a reason. It's happening for us, for we the people, to learn what has happened to our republic, what has happened to our rights, and build, on the faith that we are righteous, right? That we are acting as men and women in honor, and now we are claiming back what is ours. That's all we are doing.
Yeah, I think that people need to realize that the Republic was formed and it was very well organized. So yes, we found out that our governments are pirates and that our courts are pirates, and that, there's really no safe place to turn just yet. However, the original structure is being resurrected. It's being restored. And everyone is about to realize that that's actually been going on behind the scenes, because like we've talked about, the de jure sheriff that we had on last time, it was speaking about how the fact that Texas has restored their republic. And I know that California is also actively in pursuit of restoring their republic. So tell me about what is going on with this latest case file with regard to the courts in California.
Yes. We have some very exciting news and very important announcement. But before we get into it, I would like to just show you the level of corruption and really constructive fraud that we are facing. And it's pretty much, I think, across America. And I'm reporting from Orange County. So this happened to me personally. I was peacefully traveling on May 7th of last year, 2021. And I was stopped by a man, an armed man, who was acting as a sheriff deputy. He had the uniform, he had the badge, he had the guns. And I got pulled over because I thought that he put his lights on, and I thought that there is some kind of emergency. So as the peaceful, law-abiding American, I was assisting this officer in pursuit of the emergency he created, right? But he didn't continue. He actually came to my window and he was asking me for my driver's license, for my registration. And I asked him, well, officer, obviously, is there any problem? Is there any emergency? And he's like, well, you have a private plate. I'm like, well, that's correct, because I'm a private American. I am one of the people. And my right to travel is secure. It's been, ruled in many cases by the Supreme Court. And what I'm doing, I'm peacefully exercising my right of property, taking my property, which is my automobile, from place A to place B. I am not functioning in commerce. So I would like to know, what is the emergency? Is there an injured party? Did someone get hurt? Did you receive some kind of complaint? And of course he didn't, right? So it was assembled false case against me. but I pursued it, and you know,
So
he
you
issued.
did sign, you signed a contract that day?
Well, I was forced because what happened on that morning, on that lovely Friday morning, I was extorted, I was kidnapped, I was harassed, I was assaulted, I was battered, I was tortured, and so I filed declaration against this man who was acting as a deputy. Obviously, he perjured his oath that he will uphold and defend the Constitution that secures and guarantees my God-given rights. And I took it through the process. You know, he didn't rebut it through, you know, I exhausted my administrative process. And the
So
case
just to
was,
be clear, that's sending an affidavit. So she
yes.
sent him an
So first,
affidavit.
what I did immediately, you know, when I got released, I issued a declaration of truth, what actually happened on that date, and I served it via certified mail to the officer to his location where he's working from. And he was given a period of time, I believe 15 days, to rebut it. Anything that I declared under pains and penalties of perjury that is not truth. And he did not, right? So unrebutted affidavit stands as truth, fact, law, and evidence because that's the officer's tacit agreement and admission without objection in front of any court, right?
Now, he could have invoked a trial by jury. He could have rebutted with truth, a truthful statement against or to rebut the truth. Sorry. So you're basically stating facts within your initial affidavit, and he couldn't rebut those facts with under penalty of perjury with a returned affidavit. Okay. So you're bringing him into the law of the land.
That's correct, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm bringing him to the law of the land, and I was basically asking, where did you get the jurisdiction to pull me over, to harass me, to assault me, to bother me, to kidnap me, to torture me, you know, to engage in racketeering, right? And he did not rebut that. So that means that he admitted to all of that without objection. And that stands as truth, fact, law, and evidence in front of any court in America. And then I even pursued it through his chief police department and everyone. I even sent a notice to the court because I had a hearing date, and the court was returning all my documents. No, we don't have this case on a docket because they never actually filed it on the docket, right? I even came on that day. It was June 23rd, I believe. I had witnesses with me. No, the case is not on the docket. And I even received a certification of appearance by the clerk of the court that I was there. I was ready to face my accuser and to resolve any controversy.
Can I simplify this for the people that are kind of new to this process really quick? Because I know it's going fast and people have never been taught common law. So they don't know the standard process and procedure that were established before the pirates came and took over, right? So step one is she sent an affidavit. Then she sent a second letter 21 days later, or however you said you gave them how many days?
I believe it was 15 days because of the timing of the hearing that was.
Okay, got it. So she gave him 15 days to rebut. Then you probably gave him a notice to cure.
Notice of fault that he's coming up with the date, right? So it's a notice to cure,
right?
That he, you know, to remind him, hey, listen, you need to respond to this, right? Yeah. That's your obligation because you are my public servant.
And in the original affidavit, did you give him a true bill? Was there an amount?
No, that was later, right? So first it was a notice of fault.
Okay.
Then there was a notice of the certificate of default, because when he did not respond to the affidavit, now he defaulted.
Okay,
right?
So that means he's accepted a guilty plea.
That's
Everyone
correct.
Understand. So then did you file after those 3 steps? So step 1, affidavit. Step 2, the notice to cure. Step 3, you accepted his guilty plea. And when you filed that guilty plea, did you file it with a notary who's also supposed to be bonded and they are also magistrates? Yes. So again, yes. A king records, a yes. servant sues or goes to court. We are yes. kings handling our papers. because
Yes.
we are, all equal here as we the
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Okay,
And
so
basically what this does is you create your own court of record, right? Because now you are holding your own court. So you are creating your records, right?
Yeah.
You because we are men and women in honor, right? We know that we shall not hurt another people, their property, or trespass on their rights. So I know my rights, and I was giving this so-called officer, who obviously perjured his oath, an opportunity to respond to me.
So in the meantime, they know they're in some big trouble. So they can't just push policies at the corporate level for the city. And they certainly can't be pushing or accessing your SESTA KV, because they know that they're about to operate in commerce law behind your back, which is trust law, which is air. So they operate in air jurisdiction, whereas they act like they're operating in maritime and or administrative courts. But in the meantime, they're actually transferring. And I've been told that in many cases, these courts are already, you said they've opened an escrow account. There's already people that are lined up to be paid on any traffic violation. So on a traffic ticket alone, they might make $8 million.
Yeah, it's usually, I think on some of these traffic, violation, not really violations, but what they create cases is about $2 million. That's kind of what I know, right?
Yeah, I've heard different things, so
yeah.
everyone knows we don't know. Because
we don't know.
Here's the thing: they're operating in commerce, and they're using other private. So they've got PMAs because they're working in the private, and they've got separate coffer accounts where they're moving this money. So it's not in the public. They're not actually in the public. Maybe they're running this administrative tribunal for a traffic violation, but in the private, they're running money out of your SESTA KV, and they're operating in commerce, right?
Right. So everyone needs to remember this very important point. It's all corporate. So it's for profit, and at the top of the corporation, there is a man or woman who actually owns this corporation. Okay. And so now they have these officers, we call them actually revenue collection agents, on the roads and on the streets, looking for new business. That's literally what it is, right? So they came to me, because what did they want? They wanted to create a case so they can create the bonds, right, and get an access to my trust. And how do they get access to my trust? Is through issuing the ticket, the traffic ticket, right? The traffic violation. And what they are after? They are after my autograph. Okay. This is why when they say, well, you need to now sign this, I'm like, I don't want to sign this. Well, you have to. Well, I had to because he had guns, right? So if someone assaults you and bothers you and he has guns on you, well, now I'm under duress, right?
Did you sign it as your beneficiary name?
So I signed it under duress. So it was signed under duress that all my rights are reserved. And so what happened was the ticket never made it to the docket. Okay.
And you think that's because he knew you're on to him, and because you didn't willingly contact.
Right. Because and also when we had that interaction, anytime I have interaction, I speak to the principal as well, right? Because everything is recorded through the camera. So I made sure that the principal hears, hey, listen, I am not your customer. I am not your corporate employee within your constructive fraud, what you've created. I am private American. I am one of the people, which means I'm sovereign, and my rights are secured under the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land pursuant Article 6, Section 2. Right.
And it helps to have the vital statistic record corrected and free to be a state national, but it's not required.
That's correct.
It's correct. What you claim in the moment. It's the standing that you claim in the moment. You're either a living woman or you're a dead entity.
Or I'm a fictitious corporate entity, which I'm not. I'm pretty alive.
I'd say so.
Right. And so what happened? It never made it to the docket. Right. And so, okay, fine. That was a year ago. Okay. Like 11 months ago. And then you will love this point. And then guess what? Then we followed your process, guys, bonds for the wind, and we went after our public servants on our county here, and we filed intent to file a claim on their bonds because they've been perjuring their oath, they've been created injury against our families, our businesses, you know, you name it, right?
Did you pull bonds on all of them? The judge, the court, the county?
Well, we were in the process of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while we were in the process, interestingly, my case gets resurrected. Okay. And now what's even more interesting is that now it's not misdemeanor, but now it's a felony.
Okay. So now they're going to strong arm you.
Yes. Yeah. So it was a pure act of retaliation, very obvious. So this is what's leading actually what we want to discuss today. And this is happening on daily basis on every county, every city, in every state. So I want to be very clear, you know, when people say, well, we have a good sheriff, we have good police, we have good deputies. If this is happening on your county, okay, that these officers are randomly stopping you people when there is no injured party, no one got hurt, yet you are being stopped and you are being extorted to pay a traffic violation ticket. Well, you know that you don't have sheriff. You know that you do not have law enforcement on your county. You are being ruled literally by like the Nazis did, right? Show me your papers.
The mafia. And they're making 2/3 of their money on keeping people imprisoned, stealing children from families, and basically giving out these violations and acting in commerce behind the scenes, drawing money from our Sesta KV, which might not sound like a big deal because you didn't know you had that money to begin with, but it's a huge deal because they're using it to fund their mafia.
Right. And this is the only way how money is actually created, because right now we don't have lawful money. So this is very important point for people to know. You need to wake up, you need to open your eyes and really start addressing the problems, because this is what it will take. And so this is taking me to what we want to discuss today, okay? So now that we know that we do not have really law enforcement, right? Because, for example, in my falsely assembled case, who is going to complain that I injured? I didn't injure anyone. So is the traffic light going to come to be the accuser that you didn't stop at a traffic light or the stop sign? Right. So we know that this is just literally control of your behavior. Okay, this is a police state. This is called police state. That's what we are dealing with.
Right, we're dealing in police state in maritime, but if we take it into the common law, then you don't have judges ruling. You have justice of the peace overseeing the hearing of a trial by jury. It's the jury that convenes and rules.
That's correct.
Okay,
that's correct.
This is the way it's meant to be. And so Lenka could have given, and I don't know if you did, a true bill. So after the first 3 notices, you can then send the true bill and what they owe you. Okay, what was the total? What did the total come to?
I believe it's 1.6 million, but now it's triple the damages because they did not pay out on it, right? So
you're adding interest?
Yeah. It's then acting in commerce. Yes.
And so if they still don't pay her, the next step would be to actually put a lien out on them, which is a bond, because their actions are their bonds.
That's correct. That's correct. Right. And so that leads me into what we are going to be discussing today. This is my beautiful friends, a representation of some of the cases that my case is now part of it. We actually, Adriana Estevez, our private attorney general, she took my case and we made it part of this declaration. It's 500 plus pages declaration of all the injuries and fraud that was committed against 15 million people on California, mainly involving all these corrupt court system judges, sheriffs stealing people's homes through foreclosures and literally kicking people on the street.
So tell us about Adriana. Tell us about what it means to become a private attorney general, because anyone can do that.
Yeah, so this is a regular citizen who is actually providing service to the community, who is learned at law, the common law and constitutionally secured rights, and is acting basically as a prosecutor when our public servants fail to do their job. So
Makes
that's
perfect sense.
it makes perfect sense.
So if they're not doing it right, we need to do it for ourselves. And that's
we
just
have
it.
to. We have to, right? And so she spent 15 years really collecting all these cases, putting them together, researching, and she found astonishing things, that most of these judges that been presiding on these cases are not in compliance. So to be in compliance, you need to have a certified oath of office. You need to have economic form of your financial interest, form 700, and you have to be bonded. Okay. It's
As a
all
court.
connected. What's that?
As a court.
As a judge, as a public
judge.
servant, as a public servant, right?
Right.
And what she has been discovering is that most of these judges, that they are not in compliance. Most of the time there were things missing from their financial statements. There was a conflict of interest. Many of them are on these real estate firms, and they are part of many of these different groups and networks. Well, guess why? Because they are part of this. This is literally a robbery,
A Ponzi
theft
scheme.
in daylight.
Yeah, can I add something? I think this is something everyone should know. What you don't realize is that, like, during those foreclosures, they had already sold the mortgages upstream. So they couldn't even provide the mortgage if they wanted to, yet they were repoing, reclaiming these properties, and they stole millions of properties back in 2008. And so the judges were involved in that Ponzi scheme.
Right. And it's not only 2008, that's ongoing till today. You know, they are still ruling on these cases, right? And taking people's homes.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So maybe if you can bring up the declaration, so we can show people what we are talking about.
Yep.
So this is, for example, my case. So this is we went in court, and usually we would not go to court because this is not court to hear people. So we would handle everything out of the court. But this is very important because we are basically showing people how corrupt the whole system is, the court system. And so this is an example how we disqualified the judge literally 10 minutes before my hearing, because we did investigation on him and found out that he is not in compliance, right? So then if you scroll to the next page, Mickey, thank you. And here we are stating his form 700. And when you would go through that, you will be finding that there are basically things missing from his form 700. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done this on several, obviously, my gosh, many cases. Now, Mickey, if you would go for me and scroll, and I don't think that there is a page, so we will have to keep scrolling, and it will say February 25th, 2022. That's very important. So keep scrolling. Yeah, so here's, for example, that Todd Spitzer is the district attorney on Orange County who brought up the case against me. So when I made the appearance at the court, I was looking for my accuser. Well, Todd Spitzer was nowhere to be found. Okay.
Very interesting.
Right. So keep scrolling until we, keep going. So this is basically how we are stating about all these judges that were out of compliance. Okay, and it's one judge after another.
Wow.
Okay, and 15, now imagine 15 years of disqualifying judges who have absolutely no right to be sitting on these benches. Keep scrolling. This is another case, okay? Just keep scrolling. And we basically, and they received a copy, original copy of this declaration. So every judge on each case received it. So they have to go through it.
How many judges?
I don't know how many judges. I think the number is 23,000 judges have been disqualified in the past 12 to 15 years by Adriana.
Wow.
Yep.
That she's been busy. And are they still operating in default?
Well, that's a great question. So, for example, when I went on the stand with my case, first of all, we disqualified the first judge, Derek Johnson, and then a new judge. They assigned new judge, and we quickly did research on her. Yeah, I think scroll a little bit more until we get to February 25th.
There it is.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so if you can put it up. And so when I went on the stand and we got the new judge on to basically be presiding on my case, we did in the meantime, it took maybe 20 minutes to put the new judge. And it was funny because we had a private courtroom, they didn't want any other people to hear what we had to say, we the people. So when she came on, we already did research on her as well, and we found that she was missing a property from her economic form 700. And it was just through quick research, right? So I brought it up and I said, well, it seems that you are not really in compliance and, you have the opportunity to recuse her yourself. And she was just kind of playing, how do you have this information and blah, blah, blah. But this is very important, right? Because if the judge is not in compliance, doesn't have the certified oath of office, doesn't have the completely the complete form 700 and bond, well, they cannot hear any case, right? So that's the very first step, that the judge is fully qualified, right? Because how can the judge hear anything when they are out of compliance, right? And then the next step is I already filed in motion to dismiss because of lack of jurisdiction, right? But first, we want to know that these judges are in compliance, and we know that they are not.
Yeah.
So this is why I wanted you to pull this on February 25th, 2022. This is when Adriana Estevez, our private attorney general, she took all the cases representing the 15 million plus people on California that have been injured, lost homes, been, tortured, extorted, like myself, through this police state existing on our republic. And so she filed for the open record and public notice in perpetual memory and testimony with all 58 counties on California, notice to all the superior courts. Okay, a notice is issued to the sheriff offices, coroner offices, county recorders offices in all 58 counties in the state of California. This is to include the existing governor of the state of California, Gavin Christopher Newsom, or any acting governor. Also to include, but not limited to, all public servants, magistrates, also known as the judicial officer and judges of the superior courts in the state of California. Okay.
Wow.
And they were provided 30 days to provide their proof of authority, that they are functioning as the proper public servants with all of their paperwork being in place, right? And we know that they can't do that because they are not functioning in lawful authority. They are functioning on the 1879 Constitution, which is the corporate charter of the organic constitution that's been repealed on November 8, 1960. So all the statutes, codes, regulations, orders, whatever they are doing are null and void.
Null and
Okay.
void. So this is, I'm just going to make a call out to all the attorneys and the lawyers out there who want to do the right thing and come to the good side, because nothing can stop what's coming. These people, their sins have piled up to heaven, and the paperwork that you're carrying just proves that, right? So anyone can become a private attorney general and I don't know, associate with the bar, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
So if you want to see this document, just so everyone knows, it's 1215.org/ is it LK?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then you click on this link here and it will take you to this PDF. So if you want to see the research and the hard work that these guys have done, it's 537 pages. It's no joke.
Yes, yes, it's and you will find really amazing. It's all evidence, right? It's all evidence, and now this has been served to all the superior courts of all the 58 counties on California. And as of February, March 25th, 2022, they are officially out of compliance.
So they're in default.
Out of compliance. So basically what this means is that these courts are null and void. They cannot hear people.
Are they racking up a bill for everything they do now too?
Oh yeah, of course. They will. Yeah, but this is not about money, right?
I know, but I'm just saying, like, so how long does this go? How long does this, I'm just going to say, for lack of a better word, how long does this snake bleed out?
Well, so now that's a great question. So it takes us to the next step, right? What happened after that? So based on that, because we can be going to on every case and we can be disqualifying every judge, right? And they just keep putting new clowns in the positions, right? We can be doing this till hallelujah. So we need to put stop to it. Right. And so this is what Adriana Estevez, our private attorney, did on May 13th, Friday, May 13th, lucky number. She issued arrest warrant and writ of attachment. Okay, here you have it, and I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
So the people of the United States for America, case number 22-023K TBD versus list will remain confidential. But this is basically against all the judges and everyone involved on these cases. Arrest warrant and writ of attachment. Comes now Private Attorney General Adriana Estevez, and operating in a judicial tribunal capacity for, of, and by the people of the states of California, Arizona, Nevada, and Texas, pursuant to the Declaration of Independence and invoking General Orders number 100, the Lieber Code, prepared by Francis Lieber, promulgated as General Orders number 100 by President Lincoln, 24 April 1863. Special instructions to the government of the armies of the United States in the field, and invoking today a distress call. Mayday, Mayday. We, the people, are being attacked by the people who were entrusted to be our public servants. Invoking Article 33 and 38 of the General Orders number 100, Lieber Code, and any other articles that may apply for the defense of the people. So Mayday, Mayday.
Wow.
People of California are under attack by domestic enemy. Lieber Code 100 has been invoked, and we need military intervention.
Can we give the people something to do with that too? Because I'm just going to bring this up because it just seems to make perfect sense. I was reading on affidavitwarriors.com. Not only do they give an overview of this flowchart of sending in like a common law court affidavit process, wherein you're asking them for proof of credentials, proof that they have authority or jurisdiction over you as a living man or woman, but they also have a call the military, which anyone can do. It's step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. These steps were laid out in the 2020 Declaration of Independence that Trump signed on July 4th, 2020. Guys, you can go to We the People Declare Freedom. I'll bring that up too, if you want to read that 2020 Declaration of Independence. because everything is listed here. And in fact, some patriots have already gone through the process of doing each of these steps. So when you're calling in the military, the first step is to essentially notify your governors and your judges that you're, acting in dishonor, because they might not know. Maybe Biden doesn't know he's crazy. Maybe Newsom doesn't know he's lost his mind.
If he is even real, right?
Right, exactly. But then the step 2 is the abolishment. You have to actually fire them. And that's just a letter. And then step 3 is you put them on citizen's arrest. And step 4, you call in the military. So that's essentially where you guys are. But the people can do this as well. There aren't phone numbers to call in the military.
Yeah. So
and emails.
Yes, so as many people taking action on this, that would be fantastic. We also have a specific action items on our front. Mickey, we've been, you've been so plugged into everything we are doing, right? So we are now proceeding in going to claim the vacant governor's position because it's basically vacant. So we will be claiming that position as we the people under the trust until we can hold proper election process.
Yeah, and I really think that's what Trump did as well. He dissolved, aka bankrupted, the original corporation of the United States of America, and then he reestablished his republic, the republic at the federal or national level. But we, the people in each of the states, we have to reclaim our offices, or else you're basically watching a pirate show. So it's either you watch a pirate show or you reclaim your office, and then you give the people a way to, a new thing to invest in. So why would you want to run? And I'm curious what you think about this. Why would anyone want to run for office for the mafia? Now that we know they're the mafia, why would you spend your money, your time, your energy, and even thinking you have a vote for the mafia, or even thinking you have some say when you get into the mafia? Like, they've got guns and and they know how to disrupt your life if you stand against them. So why wouldn't we all just move, you know what I mean, and basically reestablish what was always there, was always ours. And all the fraud since 1871 vitiates fraud. So anything that the pirates did while they acted as if they were government is null and void.
Exactly. And I think, the answer to that, Mickey, is because the true history and facts has been hidden from people, right? So they might need they mean well, but they are just not informed. They didn't do their research. They didn't do their study. And it's frustrating when I see these, great people who want to do the right thing, but they are focusing on the wrong thing, because exactly how you said, why would you think that by joining cartel, this is literally what it is. It's a cartel of organized crimes, which was created by the international banksters. It's all banking cartel. Why any sane man and woman would think that when you enter a cartel, that you are going to change the cartel into some charity organization? It's impossible. And we've seen it over and over and over. And it's time for people to learn it's not working. It can never work.
It can't work too, because they're harnessing our energy for money, and then they're using that money to take over the world. We can't allow pirates to run the world. And we may have had a great relationship with our authorities 5 years ago, but we don't anymore. And this is not their first country. You are from the Czech Republic, or was it called? Yeah.
It used to be Czechoslovakia. Now it's Czech Republic. So I've been raised by the communists and the globalists, and my family's home was taken by the Nazis. When you have just men with guns coming to your house and telling you, get out.
And I think they're going to keep putting pressure in the US until we do this restoration, because we have the foundation already laid in the United States and in America, because we were the land of the free. And so we really always had, even though you go all the way back, even beyond the Declaration of Independence, because a lot of lawyers signed that. But, even though you go all the way back to the Articles of Confederation, we had a foundation before it was taken over, and we need to go back to that foundation. So I just want everyone to know that the Article 3 common law courts are coming. There is nothing that's going to stop them from coming, because it's already happening in Texas. And I also got word from birdies, and I can't promise anything, guys, but that whole ceremony that we saw in front of the US, the White House just recently, it was like 2 weeks ago, they were all bearing the original flags. They were all holding the original National Archive flags for 37 sovereign countries, AKA states, that had been formed before the seats were abandoned. So in 1871, there were 37 states, and they all had their own constitution, their own state seal, and their own state flag. When they vacated their office in 1871, the pirates came in and basically set up shop as corporations. They were foreign corporations. They were pirates on our land, trying to take over our land. Think of it like, they were in full-fledged invasion, right? But again, those seats had been vacated. So they've been vacated ever since. And by the way, the pirates hung a new flag, a different flag. They couldn't hang the flag of the original republic. So to see the original republic flags in in front of the White House tells me that's a major comm, that not only have many of the states been restored already, and they're coming soon. It's just a matter of learning who's holding office in those seats now, who's holding the office of governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, treasurer, and then who's holding the Senate and the Congress, who's holding all these seats in each of the states, because that's how we need to transition our attention, because those are the people that can call in the military. They can disrupt these administrative courts and bring back the common law courts. And that's what's happening. And that's where we're going to get our remedy. People don't realize yes, you can get remedy right now. And yes, you've been involved in that, invoking basically a common law court of jury by peers, right? Because as a sheriff, you can call upon either a grand jury or just a jury by peers.
Jury, yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've already done that, right?
Yep.
We've already held our first trial by jury for two offsprings that were kidnapped, that were taken away from their parents. So we've already done that. And so just to build on what you are saying, Mickey, so on California, basically what we need to realize is that we are under attack. We've been taken over by domestic enemy. These are the corporations that are masquerading as government. There is nothing, they are not different than Walmart. Think of it like Walmart, okay? Walmart basically took over the country, and they are now basically calling themselves the government. There's not different from that. They are a corporation, same as Walmart, Burger King, or Home Depot.
And we never had a vote at Walmart.
No, we don't. This is why there is a difference from registered voter to elector. Okay, as a registered voter, you are employee of their corporation. As an elector, you are electing your people to your de jure governmental seats. And this is what's bringing me to an action item. What we need as a next step, because now we have it declared, we have it confirmed, we have it on public record and public notice that we have no lawful court system on California, on all 58 counties. Now that's declared. So the next step is we need to get people assembled. So what we need is we need to assemble 40 people, just 40. I need 40 people, 40 people, men and women, on San Luis Obispo, okay, on San Luis Obispo County, because we've already, basically that county is one of the original counties, and all of the public servants are in default on a record, and now we need to populate that county. And we need those people to assemble the General Assembly. We will be having grand jury, and we will have appointment. And the proposal is to have me appointed as a sheriff on San Luis Obispo. So we can actually then go to the next step and claim the office of the governor, of the real governor, not what you see now. Gavin Newsom is working for the corporation, Okay, it's just the show. They are out of compliance. They are part of the constructive fraud. They are part of racketeering. They've been warring against the Constitution, the people, and the Republic. They've been acting in treason.
They've been laundering money from the people,
It goes,
on and
yeah.
on and on. Well,
So now we have to go, and we've already filed all the paperwork, and we need to put in our de jure governor. And this is because it's a vacant property. It's a vacant seat. Because when the corporation took over, when Congress walked out on the corporation in 1871, the Act of 1871, that seat basically became vacant. And it's very interesting because in many places, they actually hold that office, a place with lights on, but there is no one there. Okay, because they have to.
That's why, and again, that's why this audit's been so important. Audit, know who you're dealing with, know who you are as a living being, but also know who they are. So when you pull their charter and they'll tell you, oh yeah, no, we're a political subdivision, that does not mean that they are of the Republic, right? So people have to realize that even if you were to run for office of the pirate ship, then you would be forced into dishonor by signing an oath of office to the corporation, the all caps corporation, and maybe even the Constitution for the all caps corporation of America or the United States. So you got to realize you're signing, you got to know who you're working with and who you're dealing with and who you're aligning yourself with, even if you do want to run for office and infiltrate, which I honor anyone who's trying to do that. But you got to realize now with the new knowing, we're given the opportunity to walk in higher honor and take back the land.
Because why would you go to work for the cartel that now you know, right? Because that's the problem. That's our problem, because it's our brothers and sisters that are being used, and our brothers and sisters are acting in ignorance because they did not do their study. They are not putting the dots together, okay? And that's what keeps the monster alive.
Yes.
The good people doing the wrong thing, that is not different from the Nazis. You know, Hitler or Stalin didn't do all these, murders and homicide and genocide, right? They had millions of minions.
Yeah,
and actually Lenin called them useful idiots. Okay, useful idiots were all the good men and women who just complied with the narrative to carry out the communist narrative. So
this is a beautiful opportunity for rebirth for all of those policy officers, police officers who really truly in depth wanted to be a peace officer. They can come into the good side as you build up these communities, especially in San Luis Obispo, right?
Right. Well, and this is my invitation to all the good men and women in uniforms that I would love for you to come to the side of We the People. We are restoring these offices, and you will be now acting in honor, in service to your community, instead of serving this foreign entity that's been taking over our country and is taking our children's freedom and liberty.
Yeah.
Because I want to be very clear, they are here and they've been here for a very long time. I came from communism. I know what I'm talking about. And this is the time to act. So,
we're giving you a new peaceful pot to jump into, like, how the frog in the pot and they heated up the water. We're letting you know you can now jump into a really peaceful pond over here. It's glorious. It's all working in unison, because really there's a lot of physicians or doctors that now want to become healers, and there's a lot of lawyers who now want to become lawful counsel. There's a tremendous opportunity for a shift to happen worldwide. I see it happening worldwide, and it happens first. It has happened first in California and in Texas. Now we just need to tune in to the new resonance of the age of Aquarius, because that's where we're heading. We're tuning into a new frequency. So I think I really love what you're doing. You were right on the front line here, and I would love to have Adriana on some point and just listen to her story too, because she is a fireball.
Fireball. She is on a fire. And you know, with that said, I would love all the good men and women in uniform really to come join us, join me, because we will really start serving our people. And it's really beautiful. It's not through violence. It's really through the power that comes from the within, doing the right thing. You know, restoring our amazing republic that's been gifted to us. And, you know, we need to put stop to all this conflict and wars and extortion and assaults. It's just like it's enough. You know, there's no more of that. We need to really join in unity as brothers and sisters, and really help people to really know their rights, and help have the right law enforcement. We need law enforcement. We haven't had it for
I
a
have to
long
tell you,
time.
Lenka, you are like a divine feminine force to be reckoned with. I mean, this is just glorious. It's like the glory of God. I love how God's moving his pieces in such perfect ways.
Thank you so much. And so I need 40 people on San Luis Obispo. That's an
Okay.
action item.
How should they reach out to you? Do you want me to post maybe a
Yeah,
telegram channel?
put the email. So you can reach out to me at Coloma Associates at yahoo.com. I don't know if you can maybe put it at the bottom of the
Yep, we'll put it in the
screen.
description. Mhm.
Yeah, so Coloma Associates at yahoo.com. It's Coloma is with K, Coloma Associates at yahoo.com. And we are, you know, we are doing this. There is no stopping. There is, you know, people had enough.
I should say so. Well, thank you so much for joining today, Lenka. That was amazing.
Thank you so much, Mickey, for having me. You know, I love you and everything you are doing, and all the audience we are bringing on this important movement. And I want everyone to know that really this is so exciting and nothing to fear, because we are standing in truth, in light. You know, God is on our side, and that cannot be stopped.
Totally. And I want to make
And
also
so
a
it
call
is.
out. I also want to make a call out to all the truthers out there who are, you know, starting to pick up on all this information. I know MJ True started posting a lot about David Straight seminars and stuff like that. This all has to keep coming out. So keep pushing it out. For those influencers, reach out to me if you know me, and I'm happy to connect you with Lenka. I feel like we just create a ripple effect.
It's happening. It's so happening.
All right, sweetie. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.